So, welcome back, everyone. Super excited about my next guest. Of course, today's day two, so we're really going into the disciplines, the practices, the tools that we're using to really activate and optimize the mind, body, spirit aspects of the self. And so, Arezu Kaywanfar, I don't know if I said that. I probably said that wrong. I'll let you correct me, but I actually think that's the first time I said your last name out loud. So she's going to be talking about sadhana, and it's a daily practice. And so I'm super excited to have Arezu here. A dear sister, we met in Tulum, Mexico, and we've done a few events together and stuff like that. Just such a beautiful um, talented genius is the way I would put that. So thank you so much. I'm super grateful to have you on, and I can't wait to hear about your daily practice and for you to share all of your genius with us.
Hello, welcome. Thank you so much for the kind words. Thank you for having me a part of this. Anything you do is a full resounding yes. I so support your vision and I'm so grateful to be here. So today I want to talk about sadhana, which is the Sanskrit word for, like Lee said, a spiritual daily practice. Just a little bit about me is that I really grew up in this spiritual community. When I was 5 years old, I was blessed to meet a guru. When I was 7, I began Kundalini yoga. And every summer I would go to yoga camps. And so sadhana was a daily requirement. You would wake up at 5 a.m. and you would do about 2 hours of a sadhana practice. And so it really, I'm so, so blessed and fortunate to have had that ingrained at a young age. And when I went, I loved Kundalini Yoga so much. For those of you that are not familiar with it, it's really a scientific technology type of yoga, and it uses mantras, sounds, mudras, movements of the fingers with pranayama, breath work, angles of the body, and visualization. And with these 5 aspects, you're creating a kriya, a specific result. And I ended up doing the Kundalini teacher training when I was 14 years old. And after those 9 months of studying it, sadhana was such a deeply ingrained part of my lifestyle. And to be a teacher, you're always a student. So, how can we understand the role of continual learning, continual self acceptance, self love, self care? Is by creating that time, that window of space for ourselves. And so my journey kind of took me actually to a boarding school in India where I attended a Kundalini yoga school where we again had it sadhana it was a disciplinary military school. And so they would wake us up even earlier. We'd do 2:30 a.m. We'd go do sadhana at a temple and I would meditate. And then I would go back to bed for about an hour sometimes and then start my day around 7, 8. And it was just like this window of time that was just for yourself. There's no one I need to talk to. There's nothing I need to take care of. It's just for me. And it felt like a dream. It was so, so special. And so now it's what I love to do is to share that with the world. And especially during the pandemic, I started doing these online programs. And one of the things about Kundalini Yoga is they highly recommend practicing a singular meditation. You can pick from thousands of meditations and doing it consecutively for 40 days. So the number is always changing and different people say different numbers. But in Kundalini Yoga, we say that it takes 40 days to change the habitual patterning within your brain. And so if you do something consecutively and consistently for 40 days, you start to see the results. And so during the pandemic, people finally had time to take care of themselves, to slow down, to pause, to do the meditations I've always been asking people to try. And that was such a gift to see hundreds of people from all over the world doing these 40-day programs. So I did about 5 or 6. I actually have a program right now running that is focused on love. So we're doing the mantra of miracles. And every day we're guiding people into the importance of self-care sadhana practices. And so sadhana could literally mean that you just spend 3 minutes breathing. One of my intentions as a yogi, as a healer, as a coach, and all of the these titles is to really simplify things into a tangible way, because we live in a world that is full of distractions, and sometimes we bite off more than we can chew. And clients will tell me like, yes, I'm going to do this 2 hour sadhana practice from exactly at 4:30 a.m., which is the ideal 4:35 when it's called Amrit Vela, the ambrosial hours. I'm going to do it from 5 to 7 a.m. And yes, and then they obviously have a hard time with that, and then they just don't do anything. So what I really recommend is start small. Like, start with something that you can absolutely do. Like, we can all take 10 minutes out of our day. And I was recently in one of Tony Robbins' courses, actually, and he doesn't call it sadhana, he calls it priming. And I wanted to share that because it was a beautiful practice that is very similar to this intention of sadhana, which is to first take care of yourself, to first fill up your cup before you can give to others. And
Mm.
so his version of sadhana is called priming, and it's about 5 different things that you do. And the first 3 minutes, you move your body. You're going to jump around, maybe play your favorite song, get your body in a frequency of joy, of love. And your state of your life is affected by the state of your physical body. So finding that correlation with our body. And then the second 3 minutes is breath work, and you're like the king of breath work. So you know how powerful that is. And he really talks about using the breath, activating your prana, your life force. And then the next 3 minutes is gratitude. So cultivating the energy of gratitude. My teacher, Yogi Bhajan, would say that an attitude of gratitude is what we all need, and that's what magnifies our life. And so he says that in those 3 minutes, you focus on one person, one event for for each minute. So you have three people. And so every morning you think of one moment that you're just so grateful for, and you keep feeling it, feel the emotions, feel the experience. And then the next minute, think of someone else, something else. And so really allowing that energy of gratitude to rise up within you. And then the next 3 minutes is all about healing. So, even if you don't call yourself a healer, we all have the ability to heal. We are all healers. And so taking the first 2 minutes out of the 3 minutes to, like, I just do like body scans. I put my hand wherever I'm feeling. I just start healing myself. I'm sending love, good frequency to my own vessel. And then he says, for the last minute, you're going to send that healing positive vibration, maybe to a friend, someone that's sick, to a community that maybe just had an earthquake, to the whole world. Visualize this color green, the color of the heart chakra of health, whatever you feel, spend that 1 minute of healing. And then the last 3 minutes is about your achievements. So spend 1 minute for each achievement. So pick 3 things that you want to achieve in that day, in that week, in that month, whatever it is, and really focus on it for 1 minute, and then for another minute, and for another minute, and then that's it. So
Mm.
that's less than 15 minutes of your time, and you're encapsulating, I think, everything that's really needed, right? You're getting your
Mm.
movement in, you're getting your breath in, you're getting your gratitude, you're healing, you're raising your frequency, and that achievement of manifestation. What am I going to achieve today? Because I believe, and I know that it is possible. It is within reach. I already saw it, I see it, and now I'm ready to experience it. And
Mm.
so that's one version of sadhana. I think I'm going to share also a little bit of more of the Kundalini yoga version of it, but I'm here to just remind you that there's so many versions and there's so many ways to incorporate sadhana. And I
Mm.
think that there's about like 10 things that I could suggest. Number one, our alarm clocks. Like, it's really about how do you start your day, right? They say the first 10 minutes or the first 20 minutes of your day is setting the step out of bed because their alarm clock goes off on their phone, and then they grab their phone and they just start like immediately seeing endless notifications, the news, whatever is happening. Yeah.
Can you just go back? You cut it just for 2 seconds when you said setting the. I imagine you were going to say setting the tone for your day, but that little piece just cut it.
Yes, absolutely. So what I was saying is that we set the tone of our day in those first 5 to 20 minutes that we wake up.
Mhm.
And so if we're going to wake up, check our phone, and immediately our heart's racing, we're stressed, we're anxious, we read something that someone was just projecting their own stuff on us, that's going to be the tone of your whole day. And that's your choosing.
Mhm.
The world can wait another 5 minutes. The world can wait for another 20 minutes. You get to put yourself first, and then you get to respond rather than react. So, one of the things I teach when I do yoga and meditation is the gift of meditation is to give us the opportunity to respond to life rather than come from a reactive place. And so, what I find that sadhana has really given me a gift, an opportunity, is to come back into the present moment, to be aware, to be in the now, and to respond from a place of awareness rather than being in that reactive part of the day. So if I'm starting the day checking my phone, anxious, stressed, overwhelmed, I might most likely respond to someone else that has been having a very beautiful day and has been very kind, just bottling it out at them and being that reactive self because that's how I started my day. So they don't deserve that. And I'm not just putting my best self forward. And so
Mhm.
doing sadhana is such a gift that we can give ourselves. And I was talking about the alarm clock as like really the first step of a sadhana practice. It's such a basic thing, but so many of us, whether we have an iPhone or whatever, it's like this really harsh sound that our phone automatically plays. And so one of the first things I tell my clients is like, you can change that. Like you can go into the settings and put like a beautiful uplifting song. You can do something like ideally not even using your phone as an alarm, like having another old fashioned alarm clock, because if your phone can be in another room completely, we don't even get me started on like the EMFs and like how healing that is to your body to not have it right next to your bedside. Um, and that's like step number one, right? Like, okay, I am going to have to use my phone as an alarm clock. So I'm going to change the tune so it's not startling to wake up to. And I'm going to make sure that my phone is either on airplane mode so I don't get any notifications, or it's on the do not disturb or whatever settings so that I'm not tempted to look at the notifications. So that's step one. Then we go into step two, which is really just sitting. Like there's so many activities we can do. I talked about the movement and everything else, but how can we just allow ourselves to just sit with ourselves? So maybe, we're going to start with some conscious breaths of gratitude. If you're feeling really groggy and lazy, like laying in bed and being like, what are 3 things that I'm really grateful for? Or using your breath, the breath of fire. In Kundalini yoga, we use it's like bringing that fire up. And it really helps reset your glandular system, your hormones, and so many benefits. And starting to activate that chi, that energy within you. And so one of the Kundalini Kriyas that we have is called waking up the brain. And I won't go into explaining too much of it, but basically it's like one Kriya that you can do. It clears the EMFs, it activates the brain, works on your nervous system, tons of benefits. And so that's one exercise. It's using breath work, it's using energy. And I usually tell clients to do that if they wake up really stagnant. Another really great exercise or something you could add into your sadhana practice is affirmations. Whether you write them down, you listen to them, you read them, affirmations are such a powerful way to affirm your reality. And there's an app I have called Think Up. I love it, and I record my affirmations, and then it puts it into a song. And I wake up, and while I'm brushing my teeth, I get to hear my voice in these affirmations. And so again, I'm trying to really simplify it so that these are things that anyone can put into their daily practice. Going the extra mile would be like dry brushing, doing a cold shower. All of these things will only amplify and set you up for even more success. But it's just at what degree, how willing are you, and how much time do you have, and how can we be a little bit more reasonable with ourselves? And I guess another thing I would say, we talked about it briefly in a prior conversation, is mirror work. Maybe just sitting in front of the mirror, standing in front of the mirror, loving what you see, starting to create a dialogue, acknowledging every part of your body, accepting yourself. That if you start your day like that, imagine how much more love you have for yourself, and you're not going to be beating yourself up in this self-critical inner critic voice. And so
Mm.
I find that mirror work is a really beautiful daily practice that we can involve. And then, of course, any type of movement, whether yoga is your favorite type of movement, whether it's dancing, just getting your body moving, and then going into meditation. Meditation has been such a gift for me, and there's so many versions of it, whether you sit in silence or use mantras and other or a guided meditation, allowing yourself to just take those moments of consciously breathing. My teacher says that so many of us walk through life without even taking 3 conscious breaths a day. And so allowing yourself that opportunity, and if you have more time, and if your sadhana window is long, taking out a notebook and journaling and writing and just putting the pen to the paper and seeing what's flowing. Or there's so many prompts that you can inquire, and I'm happy to send people tons of prompts, but allowing yourself to journal is such a beautiful way as well to start your day.
Mm.
So yeah, sadhana is all about practicing what you preach. If I'm going to go out into the world and try to be a positive person, how am I doing that first for myself? And really, yeah.
So many great tools. We have just a few minutes left, and I know you
Sure.
could continue to share, and but I think that's a really great start um, for people that are looking to cultivate their self practice. I wanted to ask just kind of two more questions. First one is, um, and I imagine that like it sounds like you never really knew life without a self first practice. But for those that this is maybe new to, right, and they're used to waking up with the alarm and kind of going into chaos mode and scurrying to get ready or taking care of the family or whatever it is. Um, how would you imagine it's going to change somebody's day, somebody's life, if they can actually start their days by tending to themselves, by filling their own cup up first? What yeah, what could people expect by doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things I touched on earlier is that you're just more aware of your day, you're more aware of your energy, and therefore you're able to pause more often and make conscious decisions. You're able to really check in with yourself, you're more aligned, you're more connected. And so if we walk through life with a sense of alignment with our higher self, a sense of connection to source, everything just opens up. There's so many benefits to that, right? And one of the things I already mentioned is that you get to respond rather than react. You're not coming from a chaotic, reactive place. You're coming from a calm, collected, conscious place, which is more responsive. And then people want to be around that more. People want to feel that more. So you're actually bringing more wealth, more abundance, more opportunities your way by
Mm.
giving yourself that time. And yeah, maybe you're going to sacrifice a client or a class, but in return, you're going to get so many opportunities because your energy, your vibration is at such a higher frequency that the people can feel that and they want to be around that.
Mm. I love that. So beautiful. And so last question is, what does peak performance mean to you?
Hmm. So, well, the word peak is like being at my ultimate, at my best. So, how can I really be at a peak performance means just performing at my best. And so, what do I need to do to set myself up so that I can perform at my best, right? So, if I'm committing to a 7 a.m. sadhana, then what time do I need to go to bed to make sure that I get my 8 hours, to make sure that how can I set myself up for success so that I can have that peak performance? Because I'm not, if I sleep 3 hours and then wake up at 7, yeah, it's important to do sadhana, but at that point, am I actually taking away my energy? So to also, and you mentioned that I probably never miss a day of sadhana, I do want to admit, like, I am human, and there are days and there are times that I have to actually say, you know what, which one is going to be more important, like honoring and getting a solid amount of sleep, or, so making the sacrifices that are going to take care of our health, of our wellness, of our body. So when I think of peak performance, it's not necessarily about like being the best compared to everyone else. It's about what is the best within my range and how can I continue to make that better than it was yesterday.
Mm, I love that. I love that. And these are just some of the tools, folks, that you can check out to begin to really activate and optimize how you're performing, not in one or two areas of your life, but really every area of your life. And to me, that idea of peak performance in every area leads to what could be thought of as peak existence. And that's something that I'm leaning into and really searching for. And I know you are as well, Arezu, and everything that you are and do and bring to the world. And so I would love for you to share that, share, what you're up to in the world, share how people can connect with you and get a hold of you, and anything else that feels relevant.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so as you mentioned, my name's Arezu. My brand is Inspire Zoo, and I love to share ways that I can inspire you and inspire others through my genuine practice of life. And so through the world of social media, you can find me on Instagram, inspire_ZU. And my website is the same, inspirezoo.com. Right now, I'm doing these online programs. People are really loving it again. So I'll be running another one this October. And it's all about sadhana. And I bring in coaches and different healers and guest teachers to talk about specific themes and teaching the meditation that we'll do every day. It's filled with so much knowledge, and having the support of community has been beautiful. And in Tulum, I host private one-on-one healing retreats, whether it's one-on-one or a couple or a group of friends, up to 4 people. And that's the time when I really get to be hands-on, and you get to implement these practices and so much more. I get to create a customized itinerary and an experience. And that warms my heart so much. I absolutely love what I do. And I got a little bit into real estate. So if you're watching this and you do enjoy what we've mentioned about the beauty of Tulum, there's some really special projects that I'm loving to introduce people, and just, yeah, getting yourself out of the matrix and into a place that's going to support you and feed you, and with Mother Earth's wisdom. And I'm also just doing a lot of one-on-ones online, in person. So if you reach out, I'm sure I can find or direct you in the right direction, and share my resources. And I do a lot of retreats internationally as well. And I've been getting into motivational speaking, doing a lot of interviews on podcasts. So if you're listening to this and you have a podcast, happy to share and connect as well.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Arizu. It's
Thank
such an honor for me
you.
to have you here. So grateful for you and everything that you're doing in the world and how you're showing up and supporting others. So such an honor to have you here. And